Welcome. In this explainer, we're going to take all those common admin challenges and headaches and turn them into a real strategic framework for mastering Google Workspace. We're talking about moving beyond just fixing things and really starting to build a powerful digital headquarters.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We're going to dive into these 5 critical pillars of expertise. And trust me, this is what's going to take you from being a day-to-day technician to a true architect of your company's entire digital environment.
So first things first, we've got to redefine what an administrator even is in today's world. It's so much more than just closing out help desk tickets. It's really about having a strategic vision and designing the systems that make the business run.
I mean, really, what is the job? It's architectural. It's all about building a digital space for your organization that's resilient, super secure, and keeps everyone productive. You're not just reacting to problems, you're anticipating needs before they even become problems.
All right, on to our second pillar, security. Let's dig into how we can build a proactive defense for your company's data. And look, this isn't just about putting up walls and calling it a day. It's about creating a smart, responsive security system that can adapt. What's really cool here is that these are the tools you use before an attack even happens. For instance, let's say your sales team gets a lot of risky attachments. Well, you can just enable the security sandbox specifically for their department. Or what if you need to stop people from copying sensitive data from a work app to a personal one on their iPhone? That's what app access controls are for. These are your foundational layers of defense.
But no defense is ever going to be perfect. So what happens when something gets through? This scenario right here, a phishing attack pretending to be your own HR department, is the classic high-stakes nightmare. How you respond in this moment is absolutely critical.
And this lays out the perfect game plan. First, you investigate. You use the security investigation tool to hunt down every single person who got that email. Next, you remediate. You yank that threat right out of everyone's inbox, all at once. And finally, you prevent it from ever happening again by blocking the source and cranking up your spoofing protections. It's a clean, simple 3-step process.
Now for our next pillar, and this one's a biggie, managing your company's data for legal compliance. This is way more than just storage. We're talking about preservation and discovery, which can have massive financial and legal consequences for the business.
Everything starts right here. Picture this. The legal team calls you, they're in a panic. They need emails for a potential merger deal, like yesterday. Your very first move in Google Vault is to create a matter. Just think of it as the digital case file for this whole investigation.
Okay, you've got the matter. Now you have to make sure that no evidence can get deleted, not accidentally and not on purpose. To do that, you slap a legal hold on the employee's account. This basically freezes all their data right where it is, keeping it safe for the investigation.
Now, it is so important not to get a hold confused with retention. A retention policy is just a general rule for how long data sticks around. You might have a policy, for example, that deletes all data from the customer support team after 30 days, but keeps everything for the rest of the company for a full year.
And this chart just makes it crystal clear. A hold is for a specific legal case, and it lasts forever until you remove it. A retention policy is a general rule with a set time limit. But here's the most important part. A legal hold always wins. It overrides any retention rule, making sure that critical evidence is never, ever accidentally wiped out.
Okay, let's talk about the backbone of collaboration, managing who can do what. It's all about efficiently handling user permissions and access across your whole organization. If you get this right, you prevent data leaks and you stop those productivity bottlenecks before they start.
This right here is such a fundamental concept. Your organizational units, or OUs, are for the big, broad department-level rules. But what about when you need to make an exception for someone? That's where configuration groups come into play. So, say a user is in the sales OU, which lets them share files externally, but they're also in a special project group where that's blocked. Which rule applies? The most restrictive one. The block always wins.
The key word here is efficiency. I mean, sure, you could manually make a mailing list for your Washington, D.C. office, but what a pain. Every time someone joins or leaves, you've got to remember to go in and update it. Or you could create a dynamic group that just automatically adds anyone whose location is set to Washington, D.C. to that list. It's totally hands-off management.
A really great admin thinks about the entire journey of a user, from getting them securely onboarded to letting them collaborate with, say, external auditors who don't even have Google accounts by using visitor sharing. And then, when an employee eventually leaves, you offboard them properly, transferring their drive data to their manager, and if you need to, giving them a cost-effective archived user license to preserve their data in Vault for legal purposes.
All right, let's pop the hood for our fifth and final pillar, tuning the engine. We're going to look at how you can quickly diagnose and fix those common technical issues that can just bring productivity to a grinding halt.
Come on, we've all been there, right? A user is totally frustrated, their work is getting held up, and you need to give Google support some very specific diagnostic info to actually get things fixed.
The answer is not just telling them to try clearing your cache. No. The correct professional response is to have the user generate a HAR file. This little file captures all the nitty-gritty network details, giving the support team the exact data they need to see what's broken and why.
Oh man, here's another classic headache, especially when you're doing a migration. You've moved a bunch of users over to Google Workspace, but now emails from their coworkers still on the old system are getting marked as spam. That can cause some major communication breakdowns.
And here's the brilliant solution. You don't want to just create a huge allow list because that's a security risk. Instead, you use the inbound gateway setting. You're basically telling Gmail, hey, listen, any email that comes from these specific IP addresses, that's our internal Exchange server. You can trust it. It solves the problem with precision, and it keeps you secure.
When you really step back and look at all 5 of these pillars, you realize it's about a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about moving away from being a reactive problem solver who's always one step behind and becoming a proactive system architect who is always one step ahead.
So the question I want to leave you with is this. Is your job to be a firefighter or an architect? Because when you strategically use these tools and frameworks, you're not just running around putting out fires anymore. You are designing and building a stronger, safer, and more efficient digital headquarters from the ground up.